Hello, 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 and good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world. What is up, guys? It's Josh, back at you with the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. This is going to be a weird show, guys. I got to tell you right off the bat, it's going to be a weird show. Just going to be real with you. I saw Birds of Prey last night. I originally thought that I was going to get to come on here and I was going to be able to just crap all over that movie. We're going to have a ton of fun just ripping into it, making fun of it. I actually liked it. I can't believe it. I actually liked the movie. So this is going to be awkward. So I'm going to have to talk about what I liked about the film. And what I want to do is I actually want to do something kind of cool. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why I liked it. We'll get into all that. We're going to review it. We're going to break it down. And stop the music for a second. Stop the music. We're gonna break it down. Okay, this is serious. And then we are going to go into the Den of Nerds Theater, and I want to react to the Birds of Prey video that we did. This is going to be really interesting. We're going to put that video up. I'm going to literally react to the video that Tara and I did, because there's some stuff in that video that as I was watching the film, I was like, oh man, was I wrong about that? I can't lie to you guys. Look, I'm really not good at lying. I'm definitely not good at lying on camera. And I tell you, if you watch the Star Wars video, the Obi-Wan Kenobi video that I did yesterday, you could probably tell that I'm also not good when I'm trying to hide information. I'm not good at that. I don't know. I gave so little away yesterday in the video that it was almost like the video was like, this is the craziest thing you'll ever hear about Star Wars. And then my video was like, well, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that. I can't really tell you too much. So I was like, ooh, I kind of feel bad about that. Look, as a content creator, you're always learning. You're always trying to grow. You're always trying to get better at things, you know? It's clear I'm not good at lying. I can't do it. So I can't just stand here in front of you guys and pretend that I hated this movie. I'm sure it would be the popular thing to do. I'm sure. But unfortunately, I can't do that because I actually quite enjoyed Birds of Prey. Dun, dun, dun. What a twist. You know what I mean? What a twist. But what is going on, chat? I see you guys coming in here. I hope you're having a good morning. Let's see here. We got Jason. We got James. We got Mika, Mr. Anderson, Hector, Coachella, Biden Touch. That's a great name. You gave so much away without giving anything away. I got to be honest with you. The thing that's crazy about that video is that it is actually giving a lot of way that people might not realize. Like, I honestly think that's what it is. Like, people don't understand how much I actually gave away in that video yesterday. But if I were to explain why or how that is the case, it would just give more stuff away. Do you know what I mean? Goldman. Goldman. I don't know if Goldman knows what's going on with the Gray Order, but that's okay. We're going to explain all of that in due time. In due time, we're going to explain what's going on with the Gray Order, baby. Don't you worry about it. Yeah. So that's what's going on, guys. That is that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal here. And I guess we could just get right into it, right? I guess we should just get right into it. Thank you guys for being here. Let's talk some Birds of Prey. So we'll talk about this a little bit, and then we'll go into the theater and we'll react to the video we did earlier. But I want to say this too. You guys let me know in chat. Are these the most ridiculous headphones you've ever seen in your life? Are these the most ridiculous headphones you've ever seen in your life? I love these headphones. By the way, I spent a lot of fucking money on these headphones. But they're like wider than my face is tall. I don't know. You tell me. Are they too crazy? Nah, they're fine. You're making me feel much better about this. Oh yeah, Grey Tom's about to say how much they love the headphones. Yo, Grey Dawn, I kind of have a bone to pick with you too, but we'll get into that later. We'll get into all of that later. Okay, let's talk Birds of Prey, guys. Let's talk Birds of Prey. I certainly don't think that this film is for everyone. I think that's the bottom line. Is it when you, honest to God's truth, the film is not for everyone. If you're going into this movie and the girl power stuff is going to be a problem for you, obviously you're not going to enjoy that aspect of it. But like to me, it's like, dude, obviously that's going to be a part of it. Like let's maybe try to get over that. You know what I mean? For me, I went in with all these different expectations and all these different thoughts about what I was going to expect in the film. And ultimately, yeah, it's not for everyone. But for the people that the film is for, it's really well done. And I think, too, I was trying to think yesterday of like how this film could possibly have gotten a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Because this movie is like being devoured by critics. Like critics absolutely love this movie, right? But I can totally see why. Because if you're a movie critic and you watch movies all the time, like that's what you do, right? You're just constantly watching movies. This type of a film, I think it has like sort of this charming freshness to it. And ultimately, there are a lot of just mechanical things done in the film that are done well. There's a few scenes that I can think of. By the way, spoilers. I gotta say spoilers, guys. I gotta tell you, spoilers. Okay, it's in the title of the video, but look, I'm going full on spoilers. I don't think a lot of people plan on seeing Birds of Prey, and I don't think me talking about Birds of Prey is really going to convince all that many people to go see it. However, if you are one of those people and you want to go see Birds of Prey, you might want to get out of here because I'm going full on spoilers on this thing. Okay, full spoilers. So there's several scenes in the film that I was talking to a buddy last night about it because I went to see it with a friend and we were talking about it afterwards. There are a few scenes in this movie that they're tough scenes. They would be tough in any film. They're impactful and they could have been really awkward. Making movies is really hard. Making movies that actually flow together, very difficult thing to do. Okay, but Birds of Prey actually nails a couple of these scenes. And the one thing I'll say is whoever this director is, and I'm going to get shit for this because I don't even know who the director of the film is. I know she's a big name. People have been talking about it. Yo, see you later, Jason. See you later, brother. Whoever she is, she did a great job. The chemistry between the ladies in this film was terrific. It really was. But there's a couple of scenes that could have totally floundered. And I think in a lot of different films, scenes like this do flounder and they legitimately hurt the movie. Like, they legitimately hurt the movie. There was nothing quite like that in this film. To me, a lot of those key scenes were actually handled and done really, really well. I was shocked, guys. Actually, I'll be completely real with you guys. I'll be 1,000% transparent and real about, take care, man. Jason, thanks, brother, as always. Thanks for the super chat, bro. Kathy Yan. I owe Kathy Yan an apology. I owe Kathy Yan a couple apologies. And like I said, we'll get into the video that I did prior, and we will dissect it all. But Kathy Yan did a great job. I was about half hour into the film. I'm literally sitting there in my seat, and I'm like, this is crazy. I don't just like this movie. I might fucking love this movie. About a half hour in. And I got to be honest, I was nervous. Because at this point, I'm thinking, oh my God, am I going to have to get on camera and talk about how I unabashedly love Birds of Prey? Like, am I going to have to be that guy on YouTube? Because I definitely didn't want to be that guy. Like, I was okay with it being good, and I was okay with me liking it. But I was like, yo, come on, Birds of Prey. Pull it back just a little bit here, okay? You're going to embarrass me on YouTubes. You're going to embarrass me. You know what I mean? You really are. So about a half hour into the film, I really liked it. Like, not just liked it, guys, really liked it. And I'll say this. I think this movie let me give you sort of a blanket statement that I think can summarize very well how I feel about this movie and how I feel about DC in general. I like this movie more than Suicide Squad as a movie. But if I'm just hanging out and I'm putting a movie on, I would way rather watch Suicide Squad than I would Birds of Prey. So I don't know if that should really like let people understand and make sense of where I'm at with it, because it's a very well made movie. it really surprised me, and yet I feel like there's literally not enough for me as a fan, and just being real, as a male fan, there's not enough for me to sink my teeth into. There's not enough for me to want to revisit this, and maybe that's okay. If you're a female fan or you're a male fan that's really into girl power movies or whatever, or if you just like Harley Quinn a lot and you like that kind of mechanical thing that they do with Harley Quinn, then good on you. Bob's your uncle. I think you would really like this movie. For me personally, and more importantly than liking it, you will want to watch it again and again. For me, as a male fan, I'm not probably going to check it out again, right? But I can't lie to you and say like, oh, it's a bad movie. Oh, all these critics are crazy. Like, there's no way it should be getting these reviews. No. Like, it is good. It is good. But that, at the end of the day, I almost walked out of it more disappointed in what it could have been, because I was like, wow, man, Kathy Ann really nailed it here. I felt like the cast was really good. Ewan McGregor is amazing. Man, if only it was a little less girl powery, and maybe if you threw in some more DC flavor, some Batman type stuff, or some of that other stuff within Gotham, I would have been really into the film. And I think the film could have done much better. Ultimately, the jury is still out as far as how the film will do commercially. You know what I mean? We don't know. It's tracking really low, guys. It depends on, how you feel about it. It's tracking at about a Shazam level, basically, which Suicide Squad was a huge hit for DC. Say what you will about that movie, but it was a huge hit for DC. So we'll see, right? But I think ultimately I still have a lot of frustrations with DC and Warner Brothers. And when we go into the theater in a little bit here and we literally break down the video that I did earlier, I will show you where I was incredibly wrong about some things, but I was also incredibly right about some things, and I know that's kind of hard to figure out. Let's see here. I'd rather watch the Hobbit trilogy. Fair, yeah. I'd rather watch. There's a ton of other movies I'd rather watch. 100%. Am I saying that I liked Suicide Squad? I didn't really like Suicide Squad. That's what I'm like. That's what's so weird about the whole situation, and so weird about what is going on with this film in particular, juxtaposed against the rest of DC. But I think, honestly, even the girl power stuff in this film was handled much better than even a film like Captain Marvel, okay? Now, I'm not here to crap all over Captain Marvel, but, like, I was expecting some Captain Marvel type stuff in this movie, like the girl power stuff, like that scene with the motorcycle guy and like the snarkiness of Brie and all of that stuff. I was expecting that. I was like, okay, I'm expecting that kind of stuff, and it's literally handled better. Like the feminist stuff is literally handled better in this film. Not only do I not feel like Birds of Prey is hitting me overhead with the message, but the characters feel organic. The situations introduced feel organic. All of these moments, like they literally, and now look, I'm only speaking for me, but it totally works. It totally works. And it doesn't take you out of it. Now, before I go on and gush about some other things, because I tell you what, Ewan McGregor, I was so wrong about Ewan McGregor. I cannot, like, and that's going to be one of the things when we go in and watch the video, I'm going to cringe everything, because I think I called him a quibbly, flamboyant gay man in the video that we did before. And honestly, here's the thing. That's not based off of like me grabbing stuff out of the ether. This movie did extensive reshoots, and they reshot stuff and they restructured it. And I was actually basing a lot of what I thought they were going to continue to do based on the original version of the film, in which Ewan McGregor was more flamboyant, in which the homosexuality was played up more between him and Zaz. And there was a plot device. Like, here's the thing. These are new headphones, Maverick, for sure. I'm a DC shill. Everybody relax. I'm going to shill for this. Do I prefer boy power? No, not really. No, definitely not, dude. That's not what I'm saying. There was a previous version of the movie where the diamond... So in the film, again, spoilers, in this movie, the diamond has basically access to a bunch of money. The diamond itself has, like, computer stuff in it, and it accesses a bunch of money. Okay? In the original version of this movie, in the diamond was footage of like a gay sex tape between Zsasz and Black Mask. And the original idea was that he was really trying to get the diamond back because he didn't want to be exposed as sort of like this flamboyant homosexual from the diamond. That's the original plot of this movie. I have it on very good authority that that was the first go at this film. Now, they completely scrapped that in the theatrical version, and I was very pleased with the actual stuff that was going on. So a lot of what we talked about in the video that I did with Tara, at least on my end, was based on what I had heard about the film, and a lot of that stuff just didn't happen in the movie. So like I cringe at the thought of what I said about the Black Mask character in the video that we're going to go through, because I was so wrong. That is 1000% the thing I was most wrong about. It's the thing Tara was most wrong about, because we had heard all of these things, and it's a learning experience. This is a teaching moment. You know, you really don't want to take some of these things and just believe them. You know what I mean? So certainly was wrong about that. Let me explain how wrong I was. I think Ewan McGregor was phenomenal in this role. Like, I was blown away at how good this version of Black Mask was. Now, it's very campy. It's very, like, cartoony. But, guys, if you like Ewan McGregor, this bro chews up every scene that he is in. I absolutely loved him. And I honestly owe an apology to Ewan McGregor and to the entire cast of the movie, because I was so wrong about Ewan McGregor. In fact, maybe the only thing, like if I'm just sitting around with the bros, you know what I mean? If I'm just hanging out with the dude bros and we're talking about comics and we're talking about things, the only real draw for the dude bros for this film, unless they happen to be a Harley Quinn fan, is Ewan McGregor. And it might be enough of a draw for them to literally go check it out. He was so good in this film. And Zsasz, actually, the portrayal of Zsasz and the relationship between Zsasz and Black Mask is actually really good. Like, to me, I was like, holy crap, like, I actually really like that. So for me, that's probably the thing that I was most wrong about, and the thing that is so cool about the film. Now, I will say this. There's a couple of big issues with the movie. I think overall, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. So like either like a B- or a C+, depending on where you're at with it. And the way there are a couple of places where the film really falls flat. I think number one, the movie is not really character driven, and it's really a Harley Quinn movie, right? It's not really a Birds of Prey movie. If anything, it's like a preamble to Birds of Prey, or like a prequel to Birds of Prey, because it technically sets up Birds of Prey at the end of the film. But it's a Harley Quinn movie. Now, one of the big flaws in the film is that it isn't character driven, and yet it's an ensemble cast. And so there's sort of this disconnect between how connected you potentially could be to these characters and how connected you actually end up being to the characters. Okay? Also, because it's a plot-driven film, you would expect the plot to be really ridiculous, crazy, or interesting, and it's really not. The plot of the film is actually really simple, and it's really uninspired. So that's kind of a strike against it. Also, probably the worst thing in the movie, in my opinion, is the action. The action is so uninspired, and it's really playful and fun, and it fits the tone of the film. But, like, you know, look, there's a big difference to me with someone like Gina Carano, Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, who's physical and, like, she looks like she could be that physical, and you buy it, dude. The physicality there, you buy it. Now, of course, it helps that she's actually an ex-MMA fighter, WWE personality, right? So she is a physical person. But there's a lot of stuff in the Birds of Prey movie that's kind of like girl power chicks beating up dudes that are way bigger than them. And there's like a lot of eye rolling for that. Like, there's a lot of that just doesn't make any sense. But then again, that is kind of comic book accurate to a lot of Harley Quinn stuff. You know what I mean? Like, how the hell is this chick with just this hammer beating up these people, right? It kind of doesn't make sense. And I was slightly disappointed in the fact that the action was never really elevated to that level. So that to me is probably the worst part of the film, is that the action scenes are really forgettable, super uninspired, and very bland. So if they were to make another Birds of Prey movie, or if they give Yan another DC movie, she's really going to need help with the action. Like the action is not. She did not nail the action. Okay, but on the other side of that, the stuff that I really enjoyed, like the stuff that I really, really liked about the movie, is honestly, it's really charming and fun and enduring. And the breakup, sort of having the breakup be the thing that really frames the whole movie, and the fact that it's narrated by Harley Quinn is actually really cool, because it actually, like, you buy it. Like, for me, I can only speak for myself, but you buy it. Like, I totally bought it. I bought her where she was at. I by the way, there's this really cool aspect where she breaks up, her and the Joker break up, but she's not telling anybody about it, because being the Joker's girl basically gets her a lot. Nobody will mess with her because they know she's the Joker's girl. And that part was really, really cool. Is Joker in the movie? Not really. And that also hurts the film a little bit, in my opinion, because the context there, it doesn't quite get there. They don't even show Jared Leto's face. It's like weird. It's like really weird, because they re-show some of the stuff from Suicide Squad, but there's no Jared Leto's face. So that's really weird. Yeah, it's strange. But the framing of the film works perfectly. And because it's narrated by Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn is insane, and it's very sporadic, like it's jumping around a lot, but because it's all narrated by her, it actually flows better and has more direction than even Suicide Squad. Like, at one point in Suicide Squad, which I literally believe Suicide Squad is one of the worst edited movies ever. Like, it's one of the worst edited live-action films of all time. This movie actually, you know what's going on. Like, there are moments in the Suicide Squad where you're like, what the fuck is going on in this movie right now? Like, where are we at in this film? Like, what is even going on in this movie anymore? So take that for what you will. I felt like the narrative devices of the film, like, I was really surprised. I was really surprised at how well it worked, how much I bought it, and how much it actually helps it all flow together. Like, seriously, the first half hour of this movie is very solid to me. I was like, wow, this is really solid work. So overall, like, again, I guess my overall thoughts on this movie are like, holy crap, I was really surprised. I can't tell if it's mostly because I was thinking it was going to be so bad and I had all these preconceived notions of what the movie was going to be. I can't tell if that's why I liked it so much, you know what I mean? Because I was, like, pleasantly surprised. Or if it's legitimately a really just well put together movie. I mean, honestly, the whole team, the people that put together this film, they should be really proud of themselves. Like, it's a legitimately good movie. It's certainly not a movie for kids, like, at all. It has the R rating, you know what I mean? It's very, very grotesquely violent in some places. But overall, guys, I'm blown away. I'm super surprised and blown away that that this is the movie that we got. So, how about this? Let me know in chat if you guys are okay with this, but I think this is what we should do. Let's go into the theater. Let's have me react to the video we did, and I'll cringe when I say those things about Black Mask, but I'll point out when I was right about stuff as well. And then let's get into Q&A. Okay? Let's get into Q&A, and I will answer as many questions as I can about the movie, about my feelings, and about what is going on with DC. Was it better than Rise of Skywalker? Look, I don't think so, but I'm one of the only people that really liked Rise of Skywalker. Like, I really like Rise of Skywalker. Again, would have been the popular thing to do, to say, hey, I didn't like Rise of Skywalker, and crap all over it, right? Would have been popular, would have made more AdSense money. Cha-ching! It would have been much better and more lucrative if I came out here and I told you guys this movie sucks. You know what I mean? If I came out here and lied to you guys and said I didn't enjoy Birds of Prey at all and I think it's horrible, more money, baby, more money. But I can't lie to you like that. Sorry. Can't do it. So that's where we're at with that, okay? So now let's do this. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's get in here. Let's get in here. I'm man enough to face the potential mistakes that we made. But again, I think you'll be surprised because a lot of what we were talking about in this video, guys, doesn't necessarily have to do with oh my God, what the heck? What the heck is going on here? Are you guys hearing that? Oh, you guys don't hear that. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, give me 1 second here, guys. What the heck is going on here? Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Got a technical difficulties in the studio today. Okay, there we go. Okay. Are you guys ready to get into the theater? Everybody got your popcorn? Turn your cell phones off. I think it's time, folks. I think it's time to get in to Das Theater. All right. Come on in. Oh, I got to adjust this trailer business here, it looks like. Or the screen thing here. This is weird. I don't understand, guys. Why is this doing this? We'll go here. We'll break that down there. Maybe this will work. I'm kind of confused, to be honest with you. Is that a little bit better there? Is that a little bit better? Okay. Let's get into this. Let's break down. This is going to be super meta. This is going to be wild. Let's break down. Yeah, I know, right? Josh versus Josh. That is literally what we're about to do. One Josh enters. One Josh leaves. Okay. Here we go. Let's watch this video by this Den of Nerds guy, man. What a butthole, right?
Release and the conversation surrounding this film.
Okay, here we go. Whoa. Did I just have a seizure?
Conversations surrounding this film are incredibly interesting. Despite
Can you guys hear that well?
Many DC fans are just simply not feeling this movie. It's tracking much lower than the Suicide Squad movie that it is spinning out of. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity to deep dive on why Warner Brothers and DC seems to be making the same mistakes over and over again.
Okay. I'm with you so far, Mr. Josh.
This video is brought to you by Tara Zahn.
Yo, Tara Zahn is the best.
Via Patreon. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor and smash that like button like Batman, and let's get right into this. To me, Birds of Prey is a perfect example of the types of mistakes that DC just seems to continue to want to make. And before we get too deep into this, I want to say that it's very possible that Birds of Prey could be amazing. It could actually resonate with fans, and it might end up being a huge hit. And I don't mean to belittle anybody that's looking forward to the film or anybody that actually saw it and enjoys the movie. But to me, when I look around, a lot of DC...
Okay, let's stop it there. Now look, here's the truth. That's a really fair opening statement to talk about and not hearing it well. Okay, I can turn it up. Jack it on up. Let's see here. Yeah. It's the headphones. Okay, we'll jack that up. Look, here's the thing. That's a pretty fair statement to make at the opening of the video, but it's YouTube and it's 2020, and people just are going to ignore that. So I might as well not even fucking say it, to be honest with you, because so many people ignored this aspect of the video when they went down and made their stupid little comments about this video. I'm starting to get pissed off. This thing right here, I mean, why even do this when all these dumbasses online are going to just ignore that shit anyways? I actually forgot we even put this in the video. I'm shutting the whole stream down. I'm out of here. No, I'm just kidding. We'll keep going. But yeah, seriously, great point, past Josh. Great point, past Josh. Too bad nobody will remember that you said that.
fans are not interested in this film. It's kind of lost touch with the audience base that could be excited for the movie, and I think it's just a perfect example, again, of the mistakes that DC continues to make. I'm also really pumped that Tara ended up being the producer on this video because she is a female nerd who has strong and super well-informed opinions about this type of stuff. Tara and I hashed out some of our feelings about this. We see eye to eye on a lot of things. She sees some things differently than I do, and that's to be expected, but by and large, we both agree that the big problem that DC has is that they are using behind the times Hollywood thinking. Tara pointed out to me that this film looks to capitalize on the popularity of the Harley Quinn character, but it is choosing to highlight the wrong things. It's like you can see.
So I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how, in hindsight, it's hard to think about that statement because I definitely agree that this is weird Hollywood thinking and old school stuff. But when it comes to Harley, how much did they? I feel like they did really nail at least this interpretation of Harley, and it isn't as bad as I first anticipated. Like it definitely didn't go like full on girl power. Like there's one thing that we talked about that Tara brought up to us was like, where did her boobs go? Because, like, legitimately, Margot Robbie's boobs seem to disappear between Suicide Squad and this film. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just strange, right? It's just something that we all thought of. We're like, that's kind of interesting. But the characters are actually not as desexualized as I first thought they were looking at the marketing material. But here's the thing. How much of that is really on us for thinking that? How much of that is actually on Warner Brothers for putting that out there into the ether? I'm not exactly sure, but let's go on.
See a group of Hollywood people sitting around a table saying that, oh, Harley Quinn, a lot of people were that character for Halloween after Suicide Squad came out. It's a very popular character. Let's make a spin-off movie of it. And you know what else? She's a female character, so let's make it a female central movie. And you know what else? Female empowerment is a big deal right now on Twitter, so if we put those themes into this movie, it'll be the perfect recipe to captivate audiences. But if you then look at the movie itself, they are females that are desexualized from their comic book counterpart, at least the traditional depiction of those characters. And the main villain of the story is Black Mask, but it is a version of the character that is a quibbling, conniving, and flamboyant gay man. Now, I need to...
Ooh, cringe. Ooh, I got to cringe at that. Man, was I wrong about that. I've kind of already told you guys about this in the intro of the show, but I was dead wrong about that. This version of Black Mask is awesome. Certainly not quibbling. Certainly not flamboyant. Maybe a little flamboyant, but honestly, it works, right? It literally works. This is probably the most embarrassing aspect of this past video. Was definitely wrong about that.
Just stop here for a second and explain that desexualizing characters or having a protagonist that is flamboyant and gay and quibbling are not inherently bad things. The problem is that they are off-brand from the comic book depictions of these characters that have made them what they are. Harley's character in the TV shows and comic books is sexy and sassy and kind of ridiculous. Much like the character of Emma Frost from Marvel comic books, Harley Quinn uses her sexuality to her advantage and is actually kind of putting down men by actually being super sexualized and using that fact to manipulate men. Black men.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I don't know. Look, I think that the depiction of Harley is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. I do see, look, ultimately, it's really the presentation of the idea in the marketing that they sort of depict her in this way that downplays that other things. I think she actually is really sexy in the movie. That's just me. So maybe past Josh is wrong on this one as well.
Mask in DC comic books is an incredibly sadistic but brilliant crime lord boss. He loves to torture people and is incredibly tactful as a leader of his organization. The depictions of these characters...
Okay, so there's some truth to that because the depiction of Black Mask, although I love it, is very different than the comic book counterpart. And you get this sense that like the character in the film is not this kind of badass gangster that he is in the comic books. He's sort of like a child, and he's just like, he's got this power, he's got this money, nobody really respects him. Like, it's sort of a weird dynamic. So I can see how it's very different than the comic book version, but again, it just works. I like it in the movie.
Is very different than what you would expect from the comics. It is like a disconnect. It is simply off-brand from what people would normally expect. And this is a huge DC problem in general. They can't seem to properly portray the actual on-brand properties of their characters that got them the followings that they have. And even though DC has had people in the past like Jeff Johns that clearly do understand the brand of these characters and why people like them, he and maybe others around him lack the insight into how to properly take those things that are on brand and portray them on the silver screen. Like, basically, it's one thing to know why people love Batman. It's another thing to be able to figure out a fresh way to represent all the things people love about Batman in a film. Look.
Okay, that's a fair point, but Kathy Yan kind of does that with Harley. So, I was wrong.
You guys know me. I'm not one to dunk on SJWs or take every little thing that a crazy progressive person does and hold it up. I'm not a fan of getting into the culture war or talking about how these things are all agenda-based. To me, it's not so much that Warner Brothers is playing into an agenda. It's just the fact that they're trend chasing. They're just doing things like an old Hollywood studio. People in Hollywood, like it's been said before, people in Hollywood don't like to read and don't like to think. They're literally just copying what they think is working and following trends. And by the way, this is not like a secret. Like, even Chris Stuckman, who's very middle of the road, very sensible, he actually talked about in one of his recent videos that he was having trouble selling his script in Hollywood because agents kept coming back to him and saying it would have a better chance of being sold if you injected some social issues into the script. And I frankly don't think that is because all of these people in Hollywood truly care so much about pushing this agenda or being a part of this culture war. It's because they think that's the trend that will get them money. They are...
Okay, so that is probably true on the side of Warner Brothers. I don't even think it's probably true. I think it's definitely true. And that is Warner Brothers thinking. But as people pointed out to me in the comic books, Margot Robbie really rallied to get this film made, right? So she really tried to get the studio to make this movie. And so I'm wrong in the sense that look, Warner Brothers does have that problem. They do use old school thinking. They do stuff like that, okay? But this film isn't exactly an example of that. So once again, I'm kind of off the mark here. Past Josh, you got to do better than that.
Frankly, out of touch with what comic book audiences love about these characters. Birds of Prey isn't selling us on an incredible story that introduces comic book characters that we have been longing to see adapted into a film. It is instead being sold as a fun pro-female romp, which is totally fine, but honestly not compelling to me at all and feels off-brand for what I love about DC Comics. I also think...
Yeah, so that is totally true. Now, what's really interesting is they actually do a great job of it. I think at the end of the day, like, my feelings about the movie are that it's kind of harmless, and you shouldn't get upset about this movie at all, and frankly, it is a good movie. It's just, I think the fact is it doesn't have enough to bring in more DC fans, which ultimately, when you make a big blockbuster movie, it should have mass appeal. Like, I'm sorry, it just should. And so in the sense, I think that what I'm saying here is 100% true because they just market it as like a female fun romp time. I never would have seen this movie had people not bashed us so hard in the comics on this video in particular, which is weird because I actually enjoyed the film and I'm kind of glad that happened. Again, bullying sucks. Kind of works as well, right? So people kind of bullied me into seeing Birds of Prey. I don't think a lot of people are going to see Birds of Prey. I still think commercially it's not going to succeed in the way that it could. And if it had literally... So Feige does... Look, here we go again. We're going to talk about Feige, guys. Feige does a brilliant job of giving toys to literally everybody that wants to come to the party. Everybody that wants to come to the party, you get a toy. You get a toy. You get a toy, right? And though some people like cringe at the A-Force scene in Avengers Endgame, like, honestly, it's whatever. That's some toys for some people that aren't me, but I'm not going to complain. It's not like I'm going to be like, hey, they're getting all the toys. No, I've got plenty of toys. Feige gave me so many toys to enjoy, right? I don't get upset or butthurt that like they have their toys over there. If Birds of Prey had been a different type of movie and hadn't really marketed itself as the female romp fun ride that it is, and it had literally, I think Kathy Yan could have done a great job with similar characters and a similar story. It would have had more mass appeal. So I think this is kind of a fair statement.
I think that DC doesn't do itself any favors by its lack of focus and clarity about its continuity. How do these films even tie together? They refuse to reboot, but they also refuse to explain clearly that these films are not connected, that there is no canon between them, except for Joker, and obviously that was a very successful outing. I mean, consider this. Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. And I think that's partially because Feige knows how to please all sorts of potential audiences. Frankly, Captain Marvel could have been perceived in much of the same
Gotta hit
light
the four
that Birds of
quadrants.
Prey is
Quadrants.
being perceived in, and yet it made
Kylo
$1
Robb says.
billion. And again, who knows? Maybe Birds of Prey will make that $1 billion, but it is tracking in at about a third of the opening that was happening for Suicide Squad. So it ain't looking good. Like, it's not really looking like it's gonna make that $1 billion. And when it came to Captain Marvel, even people like myself, who were never really a Captain Marvel fan from the comic books, I felt like I needed to see Captain Marvel to see how it connected to the
You
MCU
definitely don't need to
canon.
see Birds
but
of
it
Prey.
wasn't like a chore to go see it either. There was plenty of stuff for nerds like me. That
Dude, I
frankly
love
just
Superman,
aren't
Justin.
Really that into female
You bite your
empowerment
tongue.
movies. Like, I'm not a hater, but it's just not my thing. Do you know what I mean? So when it came to Captain Marvel, we were given amazing stuff like the Kree and the Skrull and a young Nick Fury and a young Agent Coulson. There was enough toys for all of the different nerds to come to that film and enjoy. And on top of that, it mattered. It mattered to the wider canon. So there's so much of a draw for people like me to go see that film. It's almost like DC, and particularly Birds of Prey, is doing the exact opposite. I don't really see a lot in this film, at least that's been in advertisements or even in the reviews, that would be for a nerd like me. Again, not a hater, but
It's kind of
just
the point I
not
just
super
made.
into female empowerment films. It's not a movie I'm going to go give my money to.
Like,
And on top
there's
of that,
there's a difference between like freaking, like, honestly, there is a difference between freaking out about how like girl power movies shouldn't exist. There's a difference between that and just being like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not for me. Like the fact that people think that it's like sexist to not go support a movie that you just don't think is going to be your bag is absolutely ridiculous, right? So there's a big difference in that. The point remains, this movie is not for everyone. Maybe that's okay. Maybe DC is totally fine with that. It really is more for a female audience. It's really more for girl power type stuff. You know what I mean? And that is fine. But ultimately, on the back end of this, after actually seeing the movie, I'm even more disappointed in that fact because this could have been a really good DC movie. DC needs some wins. This is a good movie that not a lot of people are going to see, and definitely not a lot of people are going to care about. And the fact that it chose to be the movie it is in a time like this where political, rage and discourse is at an all-time high really didn't set it up for success. So it's like, it is what it is.
They're doing weird changes to characters I love from DC. I love Black Mask and I love Ewan McGregor, but I'm not super pumped to go see this version of the character considering what I have heard about the portrayal of him. Look, I was
wrong. How many times do you want me to say it? I'm sorry. I was wrong about Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor lights this movie up.
DC. Tara loves DC. A lot of people at the Den of Nerds love DC, and we want DC to be doing better, but they keep making the same mistakes, and the same mistakes are that they lack a vision and a continuity that they can easily explain to people, which would then give weight to films you normally wouldn't want to go see, you would want to go see to see how it fits together. And on top of that, they're using old school Hollywood thinking and chasing trends and not understanding the brand of the characters that have already been established in the source material. So there you have it, folks. My thoughts and Tara's thoughts about the mistakes that DC keeps making and why we think Birds of Prey is a perfect example of that train of thought, that old school trend chasing Hollywood thinking that keeps getting them into situations like this. But that is just our opinion. We want to know what your opinion is. Let us know what you're thinking about all of.
Okay, so a couple of things here. First of all the people that came into the comment section that said that this video was incredibly negative, you're a fucking idiot. And I know my producers don't like it when I do that. Okay, let me walk that back. Maybe you're not an idiot, but it's an idiotic statement. What you're saying is idiotic. That's the thing that the producers would like me to say, and they're right. That's a better way to say that. you're being very idiotic in your statements when you comment on a video like this. I mean, am I crazy? You guys tell me in the chat. Am I crazy? Because this video is fair. Now, I'm man enough to tell you I was totally wrong about Ewan McGregor. I was completely wrong about Ewan McGregor. Holy crap, did I love Ewan McGregor in this movie. Seriously, I did. I'm actually really curious what some gay people would think about this, though. Really, truly, I am. Because they actually kind of hide the ball with the gay relationship. Like, I got to be honest with you. Unless you had like a keen eye in this film and you went into it knowing this, I don't even know if you would know that he was gay in the movie. They hid the ball like that, which, again, was done in reshoots. But it's like, I don't know how the gay community would feel about that. Look, I can't speak for the gay community. I would be really interested to know. Maybe they hate that because it's sort of like queer baiting. I know that's like a thing that people talk about out there. Maybe it's like queer baiting a little bit. But overall, like, I was dead ass wrong about that aspect of the movie. But I think a lot of what we're talking about in this film, and it's a thing that Tara and I feel very strongly about, is like that it's just this off-brand sort of thing. It does feel like a weird version of Harley that they portrayed, but ultimately in the film it's actually executed much better, right? So I definitely don't regret this video. I was actually worried because I hadn't watched this video in a long time, and I was like, look, we're gonna do something really juicy where I'm gonna react to my other video, and I didn't feel good about it because I was like, oh man, maybe I was really off base with that. But ultimately, I feel like this video is pretty fair. However, it is obviously worth noting that, like, we were wrong about Ewan McGregor. And that was a big part of ultimately why I was concerned and not excited to see the film. And I was wrong. What do you want me to say? I was wrong about that, okay? Let's see here. Jay says, I'm gay and was fine with it, but I could see where some people would feel queer baited. Appreciate the feedback, brother. Like I said, I know that's a thing that's out there. It's probably like anything else on the internet. It's a lot of loud people on Twitter make that maybe a thing. You know what I mean? And we generalize a little bit too much on what even the gay community even thinks. You know what I mean? About different things. But I appreciate that feedback. Oh no, people make mistakes. How dare you? Yeah. Hey, look, man, that is what it is. Is what it is. But now, guys, I'd love to get into Q&A. If you guys are interested in asking me questions about this or just any questions in general. I mean, it's Friday. You know what I mean? Let's say, hey, whoa, let's bring the mood up. Let's bring the mood up. Let's get some of this music going here. That's like a little too chill. Let's bring the mood up a little bit. Let's get into some Q&A, man. It's been a weird, nerdy week. A lot of interesting stuff happening. Of course, we can talk about Birds of Prey. How does DC keep turning its successes into liabilities? I think that's exactly it, Maverick. That is such a good point. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. This could have been actually a huge win for DC. Huge win for DC. And they just made various choices behind the scenes that look, DC is not on a winning streak. I'm sorry. They're not. Like, Joker was great, right? Joker was a big win for them. So in that sense, for sure, Joker was a big win for them. But I don't believe that DC is on a winning streak. That's just me. This movie could have actually really elevated. Let's see here. Jacob's Quest says, just clocking in, did you like the movie? I did. I liked the movie. I like Birds of Prey. I'm that guy. Russell, what'd you miss? That Birds of Prey is it's a little too loud. I apologize, folks. Thank you so much for turning that down a little bit. Oh, you know why? Because we were watching the trailer. That's why. We had the music was bumping, baby. Yeah, the music was probably way too loud. I see Gray in here saying, what's your bone to pick with me? My bone to pick with you is that you went into a video of mine and you commented that you'll never support me ever again. and talked about stuff that, frankly, you have no idea what you're talking about with regards to the Gray Order. So that's my bone to pick with you. And actually, if you want to email me about that, we could actually have a discussion about it. But yeah, that's my bone. Was there a post-credit scene? I don't know if there was. I don't think there was. I left. The 10 ways. Legit question, not trolling. Why is Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange such a good thing to everyone? I think it has to do with the fact that we went from a place with that film with Doctor Strange where we were really concerned. I wasn't really concerned, but a lot of Marvel fans, I believe, were really, really concerned with how that film was going to end up, right? I mean, losing Scott Derrickson was super shaky. And as I tried to explain in the coverage yesterday, that legitimately was sort of a bad look for Marvel. It was the first time in a long time that we were like, man, look, maybe Phase 4 is rocky. What if Doctor Strange totally falls apart and is not that great? Like, that would be rough. So I think that Sam Raimi is almost the perfect solution to the problem. He's got a lot of hype to his personal brand, obviously creating Spider-Man, but also creating the Evil Dead. And so I think the horror aspects, that, people were really worried that like Feige was going to take the horror aspects completely out of the film, right? And getting Sam Raimi kind of puts the kibosh on that a little bit. So I think it's a combination of the fact that there's a lot of hype for Sam Raimi in general, obviously doing the Spider-Man movies and all that, but also it's just a steady hand. It's a steady hand on a project that simply all it really needed was a steady hand. And by the way, kudos to Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson tweeted out yesterday praise for Sam Raimi. Total and complete praise for Sam Raimi, which is such a baller move. You know what I mean? A lot of respect to Scott Derrickson. Obviously, we shit all over him yesterday in our bit, but that's what we do. I'm a dirty YouTuber, baby. What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm a dirty YouTuber. Are you not entertained? Is kind of the thing here, right? So, we did the bit yesterday and kind of shit on Scott a little bit. But in all seriousness, like, good on you. Bob's your uncle, Scott. Let's see here. I'm not a Joker fan. I still haven't seen it, and I don't plan to see it. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Hey. Let's see here. Maverick says, instinctively, I want Joker and Harley to be together based on success of those movies. And now the two characters that should be together can never be. Yeah. So that's another thing. I think there's a lot of look, there's just so much DC. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to just going to sit here and crap all over Warner Brothers and DC, but they deserve it. They've done so many weird, boneheaded, behind the times things that it's really hard. It's hard to get into DC and it's hard to root for DC if you're a casual fan. Like how are you supposed to know what's going on? Gray Dawn, you've literally emailed me before. You can just email me again at that same address that you emailed me before. Oh, you haven't? Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. It's literally thedenofnerds@gmail.com. If you like Birds of Prey and Joker, how is that not a winning streak? Shazam was praised critically, and Aquaman was a financial success. Okay, so maybe the DC films are doing better than they have in the past. I really wouldn't consider that a winning streak. Shazam, I don't think Shazam's going to get a sequel. I like that movie, but critically, it didn't really do it. And the thing about the Shazam movie to me is there was a big story around Shazam about what's going on with Henry Cavill and Superman and all of that, right? Aquaman was a financial success. I like the Aquaman movie. I like Birds of Prey, but I highly doubt Birds of Prey is going to be a huge success for DC. Also, when I think of success for DC, and I think about the fact that the CW shows are kind of on a decline to me, and this season's crossover event and really the last season of Arrow kind of fell flat. That's not a super good look. Also, the fact that their comics are struggling. It's so fun to watch the comic book competition between Marvel and DC because Marvel has been getting crushed by DC for a while. They just were. To me, all of the best books were over at DC, and Marvel was not only not connecting with a lot of audiences, but not really doing a lot of good sales, right? And then, like, strangely, bringing in Brian Michael Bendis and removing Tomasi from Superman kind of screwed it up for them. You know what I mean? So DC Comics are on a decline right now. But I do see your point, Coachella. I see your point. The better question is, why would anyone have a problem with Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange 2? Yeah. So, okay, I can answer that question for you, Trinity. I can actually answer that question for you, Trinity, because I saw some people talking about this exact thing. I think one of the reasons people are not excited about Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange is because of what happened with Spider-Man 3. Now, what happened with Spider-Man 3 was a lot of studio interference. The studio wanted all these characters. They were trying to set up a million movies. Studio interference over at Sony, particularly with what happened with Venom. Like, there's just so much hodgepodgey stuff in Spider-Man 3. I fucking hate Spider-Man 3. I really do. And the concern for people, I believe, is that when it comes to Marvel, and especially because Derrickson literally walks away, likely because of studio interference, then they think that that's going to happen again. That basically you're going to have studio interference meets Sam Raimi, and we're going to get Doctor Strange into the multiverse, hashtag Spider-Man 3 Part 2. Like that it's going to be a Spider-Man 3 level disaster in Doctor Strange is what people are worried about. So there's your answer, my friend. Will Feige ever bring Arcade into the MCU as a villain? If so, what film? I don't think so, but hey, maybe. And you know what? Arcade would be a great villain for a show, actually, like a Disney Plus show, maybe even for the Young Avengers. That would be really cool. But I don't know, man. Look, hey, maybe somebody has a weird pitch or something with that. Maybe they don't, but that could be cool. Let's see here. Got to drive later. Take it easy, Mav. Let's see. Let's get into a few more of these questions. Here. Yeah, I think DC last 4 have done well. Yeah, that's fair. Shazam was blah, and so was Aquaman. Joker was okay in the portrayal of the person with mental issues. Look, I didn't like Joker. You guys know that. I didn't like that movie. But a lot of people did. Darkman, though. Warner Brothers should just do unique standalone movies and don't try to build what Marvel does. I disagree. But there are people that feel that way, Jay Orts. And so I see you. I get what you're saying. I disagree completely. I think doing the singular movies and just having them come out like that is kind of behind the times thinking. I think DC deserves to have a cinematic universe. I think their cinematic universe could be similar to Marvel, but very different and really compelling. And frankly, I think that here's the thing. The reason I personally disagree with that thinking is because I feel like the game has changed. And I feel like what people are willing to shell out dollars for as far as entertainment is very different. And this is not just from like going to see the movies, but also buying merchandise, buying stuff on home theater, all that sort of stuff. The game has changed. What do people want? They want the most bang for their buck. They want invested. They want to feel like when they spend time on something, they're getting a big investment back. You know what I mean? Sort of like a entertainment quality ROI, if you will. And I don't think it's possible to get to the level of certain things out there that are being very successful, mostly Marvel, right? Without having a connective tissue. But again, that's just my opinion. A lot of people feel differently. But I think this doing standalone movies and don't try to build what Marvel does, wrong. Wrong. Harley Quinn animated series is dope, too. I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's very good. I haven't seen a DC movie since the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Ooh. That's a little rough. Those movies are great, of course, though. A Duder review says, I really dislike Aquaman. I liked Aquaman, but again, it is what it is. Let's see here. I'm trying to get to some good old questions here. Shazam was good right up until the whole family becomes Shazam. Arrow, same thing. First 2 or 3 seasons were good. Then everyone in the neighbor. Yeah, I agree with your Arrow assessment 100%. Yeah, Shazam, like the last act is really weird, but I think it works for the tone of that film. But yeah. Yo, let's smash that like button if you could. That would be great. I would very much enjoy it if you smash the like button, yes? Love Henry Cavill's Superman. Jason Momoa is great as Aquaman. Don't care about Harley. Sorry. Hey, don't be sorry. I don't really care about Harley either. The freaking internet bullied me into seeing that movie. You know what I mean? Captain Marvel wasn't an origin movie. I don't know if I agree with you, man. Well, if they try, then not by copying it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work if they copy it. But still, there's a lot of successful things that Marvel is doing where you can just literally, you can copy the things you want and then tonally set it up differently. Like, it's almost like DC. Yeah. They're just weird, man. It's weird. It's weird the way they approach things. Yeah, no? I think Trinity, I think it is an origin movie. I think it is an origin movie. The origin is definitely not handled very well. But it is an origin movie in that sense. Would the MCU and the DCEU ever do massive crossover like they do in the comics? I mean, you're talking about some money. Bro, Hector, that would be so cool, but what's in it for Feige? What's in it for Feige? At this point, the MCU is so massive that kind of an arrangement and that kind of movie only benefits DC. It doesn't benefit Marvel at all. Everybody wants that Marvel money and they want to brush. This is exactly what Sony's trying to do right now with the Kraven the Hunter movie. They want you to think as much as possible that this is in the MCU. You know what I mean? They changed the world building halfway to lighten it up. Don't copy Marvel and stick to your own style. Shazam has a 90% approval rating. Yeah. I like Shazam. Not to mention the sex change on Marvel, the OG Captain Marvel. Yep. That was kind of a weird choice. Isn't Black Adam happening? Jordan, look, they say Black Adam is happening. The Rock is posting Instagrams about Black Adam happening. But I think that, like, in 2013, that was announced. That was announced, like, 80 million years ago. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Thank you, Gray. I will check out that email later. Your thinking sound effect is the same as your spicy sound effect. Licks fingers. That's another thing I want to add to the show, though, is sound bites and different kind of funny things like that. Like, I want to have that, are you not entertained? You know what I mean? Like, Maximus sound bite. I want to have all of that. I think that would be really fun. There's a lot, like, dude, it's so weird. Like, I've been wanting to work on the show. Like, it's a really hard balance to actually do the show and do the content and actually then work on the show and the content. I'm trying to make a lot of, like, upgrades and stuff and work on that a little bit later today and spend some time working on that tomorrow as well. Because, like you know, like I've been telling you guys, this show, I think, is going to blow up. The morning stream on the Den of Nerds Live is going to blow the F up. But it won't get there unless it's actually a really great product. So, you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to tighten this product up. We're going to make this thing pristine, baby. You know what I mean? I'm all about feminism because I am a girl. That capitalization really got me there. But I am kind of getting tired about the need to make female characters out of OG male characters for the sake of posturing, blah, 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 Doctor Who and all that. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Irene. Look, it's one of those things, you know, we talk about this a lot because it's tough. But there's plenty of ways to do, I think it comes down to being a little bit more tactful about it. Is there a portion of it, though, that is like sort of this fake outrage that's like, outrage sparked kind of because of like the culture war that's happening on Twitter and all these things. Yeah, there's definitely a side of it that like we say all the time here on the Den of Nerds, it ain't that deep, right? It ain't that deep. And I think as long as care is given to appease all sorts of different audiences, which is what you should be doing when you're making a goddamn commercial product. If you're making a commercial product, it should be commercially viable. That's what you should be doing. So there is a lot of that, and there's a lot of like cannibalization with wokeness. There just is. You know what I mean? But sometimes like, let me tell you this. Let me explain this to you guys. I don't talk a lot about the Marvel Comics wokeness debacle that's happened over the last 6 to 8 years. And partially this is because I worked in comics. I still know a lot of people that work in comics over there. And it's just, I don't want to put anybody's business out there. But the truth about like Marvel's problems with comic books and wokeness is actually that there was a million other problems that were way more important that were happening to Marvel Comics. Marvel had been screwing over retailers with a lot of weird shit since like the 90s. Marvel had been, ever since the death of Superman comic book made headlines on like actual news and stuff, DC and Marvel got into this habit of doing things that were sensational just so that they could elevate out and get big buzz, right? So there's a lot of stuff done that was disingenuous. But ultimately, the problem with Marvel Comics, like there were so many problems that had nothing to do with the wokeness, but the wokeness problem became the thing that everybody wanted to talk about because it was lucrative to bitch about on YouTube and make money. So there's a grift to it. Also, it's really beneficial for the company to hide the ball of what is actually going on and how they're actually really doing some very bad business practices. It's beneficial for the company to hide behind social justice and be like, oh, it's just because people don't like women. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's the most frustrating aspect to some of this to me. It's not that it doesn't exist and it's not that it's not a problem, but it ain't that deep and it's not really what people should be upset about that much. But it's sexy and it'll get you clicks and all that to be that upset about it. You know what I mean? Diamond is super terrible. And Diamond, the reason Diamond, like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole here, but Trev, you probably already know this, but the reason Diamond has as much of a monopoly as they do is actually Marvel's fault. It's Marvel's fault. Not DC, it's Marvel's fault. I'm loving this tune right here, man. It's dance time here on the Den of Nerds Live. This is the rest of the show. This is the rest of the show. I'm just going to do that. That Monday show is just a dance party. That's what we're going to do. Maybe we should have dance party moments here on the show, though. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? It's dance time, baby. If you read comics, check out Luna Show. She's an original Marvel character created for Marvel mobile games. She has a great backstory, and her comic is good from what I hear. Where's my glow sticks? Yeah, let's get them glow sticks going. By the way, we're going to do another community stream Monday night, guys. So make sure you try to come back Monday night at 8 p.m. I think it's going to be a really good time. I think we'll end up talking about Star Wars fandom, possibly even the Grey Order, and why I am walking away from the Grey Order. Believe it or not, that's the first time I've actually admitted it on a public video. But yeah, I'm peacing out. I'm peacing out from the Grey Order. Maybe I'll talk about that on Monday night stream. Because I think it's worth talking about. I want to get into it. So maybe we'll talk about Star Wars fandom and what it's like to be a YouTuber. I have a lot of thoughts, but I got to be honest. I got to be really careful about how I talk about all of this because, man, a lot of weird people on the internet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people on the internet that, like, I don't know how to say this. In the nicest way possible, it is very easy to cast stones and make judgments about things when you don't really have a full understanding of what's going on. Mm-hmm. What is it like to be a YouTuber? Sometimes awesome, sometimes awful. Joining the New Force Order. I'm not going to join the New Force Order, but I love the New Force Order, man. Those guys are awesome. I was just texting with Papa Don last night, man, because Papa Don is trying to get Papa Don's trying to get the goods about the Star Wars thing that I know. Everybody wants to know what's going on with that Star Wars news. I can't really talk about it. I'll say this though, it's not as much. Everybody loves to. A lot of people are thinking that I was talking about how Kathy Kennedy is going to be replaced and fired. I don't actually think that's going to happen. Like, so I'll just tell you guys, those that are watching the live show, I don't think Kathy is going to disappear. I think she might step down in 2021, but yeah, I don't know. Do you play gotcha games with Justin? And if so, who has the better roster? I really don't. I really don't play gotcha games the way that Justin does. Justin certainly has the better roster. Definitely very adult. I love sitting down and talking to those guys, though. They're so funny, man. They're so funny. They're just hilarious. They're very raw, though. Very raunchy. A lot of people would not like that content. Yeah, but I love it. My last video was titled, I'm so tired, so very, very tired. And that's how I feel about the Star Wars fandom. That's how I feel about the Star Wars fandom. Let me just tell you this. Do you guys remember that Christian Harloff and John Campea were going to do the Dark Side, Light Side? Bro, I think the same reason they're not doing that show is the same reason that I'm walking away from the Grey Order, essentially. Like, yeah, we'll get into more of that. I think what I'll do is I'll do a video about it. Maybe I'll drop a video about it on Sunday, and then I'll plug the community stream on Monday. So we can then, then we can talk about it on Monday. And, I'll give people a fair shake. But the thing is, here's another aspect of it too. Man. And I was talking to some other very popular Star Wars content creators that I cannot name about this. But we were talking about how there's basically a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can try to make everybody happy, which is stupid because on the internet, there's a lot of really just, whether it's mental health or they're just not like totally put together as a person, or possibly that the communication they use online is very different than the way they would use it if it was person to person. But there's basically just way too many fucking crazies out there, dude. There's way too many crazies. Like, it is so hard to try to navigate in this space, in the Star Wars fandom, because it's so ridiculous the perception that people have of what is positive content, how, where's the line? Can you take a joke? You know what I mean? Like, all this stuff is crazy. And honestly, I've gotten to the point where I can't even think about appeasing those people anymore. And the only thing that I can really care about is like growing as a content creator, trying to be fair and balanced in the way that I can, and letting the chips fall where they may. Dude, we're going to piss some people off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, the Raylos, I've been telling you guys about this for a while. We're working on the Raylo roast. I've decided I'm going for it. I'm going to roast the fuck out of these Raylos. And the thing is, man, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, why should you even do that? The Reylos have had it really hard. The Reylos have it hard. A lot of people are mean to them. Now you're going to be mean to them too? Oh my God. And the truth is, man, I just got to say it. If you're going to fucking cry about this movie and about these characters, and you're going to literally like do videos and live streams and have community stuff, and you're all just like sobbing and crying, and you're that affected by what's going on in these films, as much as I don't want to personally hurt you, I do think you need to grow the fuck up. It ain't that deep, dude, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of walking around on eggshells because there's some loony people out there that are so attached to characters that if they feel if I make some content that's basically saying like, I think that's a little too much, that's gonna offend you to the point where you're gonna attack me and say that I'm all of these things. I'm just done with it. I can't do it anymore. And another thing that this person told me when I was having a conversation with a good friend, fellow content creator, Star Wars, and we basically came to the conclusion that, honestly, here's the thing. If you're getting the heat, which I do, I get the heat and I get the smoke from both sides, meaning like the crazy-ass Reylos, they come in and they're hating, calling me like a misogynist or calling me all these, alt-right or whatever, that those people, if they're saying that, and at the same time, the other people, the other dumbasses that come in here and say that I'm a shill or an SJW. Like, okay, let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain the state of the Star Wars fandom. I was in a hit piece about the Fandom Menace. Okay? That's real. That was real. I was on a hit piece saying that I was Fandom Menace. Literally, months later, after some Grey Order stuff happens, after launching it and doing all that, a Fandom Menace website wrote an article about me talking about how I'm an SJW. So you have people out there saying that I'm Fandom Menace, and then you literally have people saying out there that are in the Fandom Menace saying that I'm an SJW. And the truth is, it's like, what my friend and I were basically deciding was, or talking about, was that in that scenario, it means I'm probably doing the right thing. If the batshit crazy people on both sides have a problem with me, probably means I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. The 10 Ways says Josh is not an SJW. I'm an SJW. We know our own. Yeah, I'm definitely not. And look, just to be real with you, the 10 Ways, I do have problems with SJWs. I mean, you seem pretty reasonable, so I'm not going to make an assumption about you. But as far as that generalization goes, yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the SJW way of doing things. Just going to be real about that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't... Look, it's not going to work. We need to grow as a company. The Den of Nerds needs to grow. This brand needs to grow. I need to grow as a creator, as a man, as a person. And I've just realized that the way we went about the Grey Order and what is happening now with the Grey Order, I ain't about that life. Drew says with the $5 super chat, Reylos are soft. Kobe Bryant gif. Totally. They really are. Like, I'm sorry, like... What is this SJW thing? SJW is a word of phrase. It means social justice warrior. And I think what it's come to mean really is people that it's not just that they want progressive changes. It's that they can't accept the current rate of progress, and they're going to like create war, or like with a warrior mentality attack the things they think are preventing that progress from happening. So that's where I think that's where the phrase comes as social justice warrior. The idea is literally to create war. Like, it's warrior, right? It's in there. It's in that word. The idea is, I'm not going to sit here and wait for society to progress at a normal, rate. I'm going to war on the things that I think are preventing that from happening. And I think that's a pretty fair assessment. And I think even a social justice warrior would say, yeah, that's what we do. Is you talking about that Star Wars YouTuber Mad Max? Partially, yeah. Mad Max is one of those people, for sure. Raylo's crying and lashing out about Ben, just like the Phantom Menace are crying and lashing out about Luke. I'm sick of both y'all. Dude, Jacob's Quest, you couldn't have said it better. You couldn't have said it better. You couldn't have said it better, my friend. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. What a weird show today, you know what I mean? Oh my God, we've gone for an hour and 20 minutes? How did that happen? I must have just geeked out about Birds of Prey for a while. I probably should get out of here and work on some videos, huh? Guys, thank you so much. I want to say again to everybody that's been watching the show, supporting the show, whether it's on the replay or not, you guys are amazing. This is, you know, to me, you're ground level supporters of something that I think is going to grow into something very, very big. And I just really appreciate it. I love it. I love it. I love waking up and knowing that I'm going to go hang out with my nerdy internet friends. I'm going to do what I can to entertain them and to literally make them have like a good morning and have some good content and really get into some stuff. I think that's awesome. And I'm so happy to be doing this with you guys. It's really a great thing. So thank you for being here and supporting. And yeah. What did you say about Birds of Prey? Oh, you missed it? Brother, I'm sorry. You're probably going to have to go back and watch that on the replay. But frankly, I liked the movie. And I was very surprised at how much I liked the film. I wake up early for work just to watch this every day now. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that, man. I really do. And thank you, Renee. All right, guys. I'm going to get on out of here. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. And then we got to do like something like this because I always cut the stream off.